Alright, so I finally had the time to get around to this. Today is the day that I'm gonna show you all my setups. Yes, plural. No flex intended, I swear, but I've got one place where I work at, which is basically the office, and the other is in my room, which is more of an entertainment type thing. These are both setups. Well, okay, the room is a setup that I've been working on for I guess years because I've been adding things little by little. And the office was more over the course of last summer when I was streaming a bit more. I consider these setups like 1.0 because I kind of just built everything around where I was already living. And whenever I decide to move, I'll actually be able to take empty rooms and start from the ground up. That'll lead to certain things like better cable management and whatnot. So I'm gonna show y'all everything. And one of them is basically a stream setup. So if you've ever been curious what kind of stuff you might need for that, you're gonna see it all in this video. And I'll probably link all the actual materials in the description if you're interested in getting anything on your own. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the office first. Alright, so obviously the main thing we've got going here is the desktop, and it's not even a year old yet. I got it back last summer when I was interested in streaming, and it was on sale at the perfect time, so I kinda just figured I'd start here instead of getting super specific in building one. I also just kinda needed something faster than my laptop for editing. I had been editing videos on my laptop for years, so just needed a bit of an upgrade. I eventually will build from the ground up, but for now this gets the job done. It came with a GTX 1080, a terabyte hard drive, and 16 gigs of RAM. Just about 2 months ago I replaced it with Corsair's Vengeance RGB RAM, and now I have 32 gigs. Around the same time I got the RAM, I also got the keyboard and mouse setup. All of this is from Razer, and you can program anything you want the colors to do through the app on the computer. You can make it light up in all kinds of patterns, control how the colors move when you type. There's really limitless possibilities here, but I've just kind of kept everything flowing with a green color because I've been too lazy to use it, but yeah, there is much more you can do with this. And as you can see, I'm also running the dual screen setup, which kind of helps for editing just so you can organize everything better, but it's damn near necessary for smooth streaming. These are Samsung's UE590 series, and they're 28-inch 4K screens. They've got a refresh rate of 60 Hz, and they're LED displays. I could have done better with monitors, but they are really good enough to get started with, and they're definitely good screens, but I know there's better refresh rates out there. But again, this was on sale. This was all like during the summer, and everything was on sale, so got a good deal for them. And as far as streaming, or if you're interested in that, this will make your life 1,000 times easier. These are Elgato Stream Decks that allow you to trigger all kinds of commands while you're streaming instead of having to do it manually. So if you want to put up your startup screen or when the stream ends, or you have some kind of sound effect, you just program the key and press it, and it'll do whatever you want. This thing is super convenient. Speaking of Elgato, I also have their HD60 Pro inside my computer, which is basically an HD PVR. It's how you record gameplay, it's how you can stream, and you can't really see it because it's under the graphics card, and I kinda forgot to focus on it with the camera. Damn near forgot it was in there. Yeah, it's an amazing tool for recording and streaming, and it has instant game view, so sometimes whenever I'm using it, it'll look like I'm actually playing the game on both screens. I do plan to upgrade to the 4K Pro one day, but for what I was looking at in terms of pricing, it got the job done, and the footage is absolutely beautiful. My webcam, which I also did not focus much on, is Logitech's C9 22-piece, and this goes up to 1080p and 60 frames per second, which is plenty if you don't feel like spending extra to bump up to 4K. If you ever watch one of my streams, this is what I was using back then, and yeah, I'm very pleased with this, so I do recommend this if this is something that you're looking for. And for my sound setup, I'm using Logitech's Z625 speaker system, which is fucking amazing for its price. I always thought a decent speaker system would run your pockets, but for $150, I feel like I'm in a theater when I hook these up for movies, so if you're looking for a decent sound system, even for your TV or anything, I 100% recommend these. Good bass, it'll fill up a whole room, and yeah, I just could not believe, like, for this price, sound quality is amazing. Over here you see the mic and mixer that I use for streaming. I'm gonna be honest, I pretty much stopped streaming before I got the full use of the mixer, but if you know how to hook up all your audio sources for your setup, it gives you a place to control everything at once for the stream. Basically, if you're unfamiliar with it, you have sound sources coming from everywhere. Your mic, your game, your computer. So you can have everything plugged up to here, and with all the knobs you can control it and make it sound however you want. This is the Yamaha MG10XU mixer, and this is the Audio Technica AT2035 microphone. it is not a USB microphone, so amongst other things, the mixer was kinda necessary to be able to use it. These type of mics actually end up having better sound quality than USB microphones, and back when I was streaming, I switched over from my Yeti to that mic and people liked it much better. And yeah, as far as important stuff, that's pretty much my side of the setup. This side is my brother's, and we've hooked him up for Christmas with a nice setup so he could mod and play GTA V. That's kind of what he cares about right now at his age for having a PC. He has as much RAM as I do, but also an RTX 2070 graphics card. For the price we got it at, it was really good for a pre-built computer. And again, we just did this to get started. We are both eventually going to build our own, but we just kind of wanted something to jump into it because we were never PC gamers before this. I'm still not really a PC gamer, I just kind of needed something to stream and better tech to edit with. But as I get more into that world, we would definitely be building from the ground up. I've seen some really creative builds and I can't wait to get into that. Before his setup arrived, this whole table was basically from my PlayStation lineup that are all connected to my monitors. I've got the white PS4 Pro to stream from, which I was so happy to be able to find one of these. I had to get it used from GameStop because everywhere else the price was just ridiculous. Couldn't find them new anywhere, and I've always wanted a white PlayStation, so I was lucky enough to be able to do that a couple of months ago. Next to it is the cheap PlayStation 3 and the custom PS2 that I modded way back in like 2010. This is actually my PlayStation 2 if I'm not mistaken from when I was a kid, and it had a big crack on the top of it in the original black case, so I was able to get a transparent case and I've loved it ever since. I always enjoy doing these case mods, but the only thing you really get to see inside is the CD spinning and the laser reading it. Other than that, the circuit boards are all really covered by the heatsink, so there's not a whole lot to see, but I still like it. And as far as tech, that's really what I'm working with here. The rest is all decor. I set up bookshelves with everything I loved behind me, and the idea was that people would be able to see some of it while I was streaming, but obviously it's too far away for the webcam to make out anything useful. When I get to setups 2.0, I'll make sure to fix that. On these shelves, I basically have all the retro games I loved, so you can see all these PS2 games and the Driver series. That's like, the Driver series really is my life, so if you know about that, shout out to you. All of my NBA snapbacks. Up here I've got my DBZ collection next to the DBZ DVD collection that I retired a long time ago because I switched over to Blu-ray. I was collecting these back when I was in high school, middle school, and it just does not look good anymore on like 4K TVs. It looks terrible, so went out and got the Blu-ray versions instead, and now these are just retired. On this side I have a bottom shelf dedicated to NBAs, so these are just figures that I had laying around from the years. More snapbacks. I do not have one for every team yet, but I eventually will. And then of course the most important shelf here that is dedicated to Marvel. I got the handbook from when I went to go see Infinity War, the 3D glasses from when I saw that movie, the Thanos cup. Yeah, this is the most important thing here. And then at the very top, that's the rest of the DBZ collection, including the Hulk on the very top. So yeah, that is all for the office. This is where I work, this is where I edit, and yeah, when I get back into streaming, this is where I'll be. It's definitely an amazing place, but it's nowhere near as cozy as the entertainment room, or I would call it the man cave. So this is where I just kind of casually play games, watch NBA games, and overall it's just a chill room. Except for when I record videos, I do use the Yeti mic to record in here on the laptop, but yeah, overall it's just designed to chill. So of course this is far less sophisticated. Up here we've got the PS4 Pro with the icon lights, and I absolutely love these. You can get these at GameStop. Got a ton of controllers because my anger issues finally subsided from when I was a kid, so I'm able to collect these now. And next to all the PlayStation stuff is the Nintendo Switch. And these are kind of the only two consoles I really play these days. As you may notice, I did a case mod on the Switch as well. Doing this without breaking the Joy-Cons was a bitch. Like, it almost drove me crazy, but it was worth it. They're made to mimic the transparent Nintendo 64 from way back in the day. And right here, what you see is the absolute only way to comfortably play the Switch in handheld mode. I was playing Smash Bros without this when I first got it, and my hands started cramping up so fast. And I actually had an injured thumb for like a week or something, so this was a wise investment. And it doesn't get that much more complicated as far as tech in here. I've got the Xbox One X that my family was nice enough to gift me for Christmas, and unfortunately I found no time or use for it outside of 4K movies. I'm not gonna front. If I'm not playing Halo, I'm basically not playing Xbox, sorry. The rest down here is just accessories and chargers, but ideally I'd have the original Xbox and the Xbox 360 down here. I own neither right now, so I will save that for the second setup. And on the second level of this table, the PS3's got a space all to itself. Back before I had the Office, I used to have the PS4 and the PS2 right next to it, but those are now gone for obvious reasons. And believe it or not, I was still consistently using this PlayStation 3 until the Warhawk servers got shut down in January. This is still probably my favorite console ever and very deserving of its own video. Unfortunately though, this is the 80GB PS3, I no longer have a 60, which was what I was originally gifted back in 2006. As a matter of fact, I really don't know how many of those even still work, if there are any out there. The TV is a 4K Vizio that I got years before I even knew anything about these TVs. It doesn't have a UHD features, so I feel like I'm missing out, but video games still look gorgeous, so I'm not really tripping. Especially not for the price I got it at, it does have a really nice picture. On the left side of this setup, we have a small portion of all the games I own, and these are all Xbox, PS4, and PS3 games. I am not gonna lie, like I've ever beaten or even played all of these. Games are coming out at like a rapid pace these days and I just don't have time to keep up. And I also have a shelf in here too. The bottom level is my NBA 2K collection that spans all the way back to NBA 2K7 and comes to now with NBA 2K19. Over here to the left, you can see the special edition NBA 2K13 items and they are still all in mint condition. On the second level are just my basketball books, and tune into my other channels because I will probably do a video about these one day. Really good stuff if you're an NBA fan or a basketball fan in general. And of course, the all-important third level. This is the modern day DBZ stuff that I use, cause like I said, out in the office I have the DVDs that I retired. But in here are the Blu-rays for the original series and Super. I've still got a ways to go, especially on the manga, and I haven't even started collecting the original Dragon Ball series, so I've got to work on that. The fourth level is just generic Blu-ray movies, but the top is the most important. Every MCU movie that's out to date. And I actually just got done with the rewatch. Going to see Captain Marvel in a couple of days, super excited for the credit scene. And then here's the desk where I record. Of course, this was the appropriate spot for the 100k sub button for the Dom2K channel, and hopefully I will be adding a couple of more of these to the wall soon. And here's the case for the rest of my games that I just have not found a great spot for. I would really like to, get a better space with a huge shelf for all my games because, to be honest, a lot of them are in the closet just stacked away for the ones that I don't use. And yeah, that is basically it. Like I said, it's also the NBA man cave, so that's what's going on with all the jerseys. And these are all jerseys that I actually used to wear back when I was a kid. No matter how big they look, yeah, I used to wear these. But I stopped wearing NBA jerseys at the same time as everybody else, so these are just retired. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about the lights. This is like the modern day way to light millennial spaces, and you see these in damn near every setup on Instagram. I didn't really film them, but these all stick to the back of things. So I actually have about 8 strips in this room that are stuck to the back of the TV and on the shelf. I don't know how to pronounce the brand, it's spelled LIFX, so if you're looking for these, that's what it's called. And they're Wi-Fi controlled by apps on your phone. So you can do all kind of cool stuff like change the colors, have them change on like time control, you can do whatever you want. But these days I just keep them on blue because the ones on the shelf, they just don't look good when they change colors. I'm not sure what's wrong with them. Maybe it's the way they reflect off the jerseys, and it just doesn't mix well with what's behind the TV. So for right now, I'm just leaving everything blue until I get more. And there you have it, those are my setups, the office and the man cave. In my next setups, whenever I decide to move, I'll definitely be looking for better cable management amongst other things because I really didn't show you how garbage that is. And specifically for the office, whenever I start streaming again, I'd like to have the same light setups going on behind the bookshelves. I haven't invested in it right now because it's just not necessary, but it is something I'm looking into. Overall, I am happy with what I have right now, and I've been adding to each of these slowly for about a year now, and I don't really see any major changes happening before the next setup that I do when I actually move, so yeah, that is what I have. If I didn't get lazy, then everything will be in the comment section and in the description with links, so if you saw something that you want to buy, then you can go do so. And yeah, I think I've said everything important. So hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications for whenever I post. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.